Okay, today on Drunk Peers Review Beers Versus Edition, we're going to do the St. Archer IPA. That's basically all it tells me. It's it's out of San Diego, California. It's one of their signature beers. Versus the Stone Delicious IPA, citrusy IPA with lemon drop and Eldorado hops. I love lemon drop hops.
And you know, if they're willing to give you all that information, then they usually stand by it. So
that's right. And also from San Diego, California. So we're doing two San Diego, California pale ales, India pale ales, against each other. See who comes out on top.
Yeah, my lips are freaking parched, bro. Let's get it going.
You do the honors of cracking that one.
Yes, thank you.
I did introduce you as Tyler Davidson, right?
Well, I mean, not.
My bad. Well, that's why. So now you know his name.
Yeah, you really don't want to know me.
Send him death threats because of that.
Who's that guy that showed up at the party? Why did anyone invite him? No, I swear I know what I'm doing. Okay.
Is the old E before this that fucked that up. Okay, so he got the hard one, so I'll get this one.
Yep. Nobody watch. Okay, makes me nervous.
There we are. So, let's do the old color test first. You want to pour one, I'll pour the other.
Yep. Which one you want? Bridesmaid?
Bridesmaid for yours, and then I'll do the bubble glass for the other.
I will say that I prefer the effervescence, which is why I do a side pour. And Brian has mentioned previously before that he is more of a what would you consider like a German drinker, like a
two things. I like to show how much head it generates when you just pour it. It kind of shows the carbonation level of the beer for someone who's not actually drinking it.
Because plenty of heads are real tight bubbles, but you can notice, at least we can tell you,
low and loose.
Low and loose bubbles. You got real big bubbles that go on. You're saying?
Yep. So like nitro bubbles would be like a million teeny little bubbles that create a creamy froth at the top, which is my absolute favorite.
Okay.
Which this carbonation is much bigger bubbles like you blow out of one of those little pixie stick things.
Alright, fair enough. Let's do this, and let's also do this, so you can get like kind of like a real close side by
side color. So this is almost more of a like dark amber IPA color, whereas this is more of almost a lager color with that green yellowish tint.
It's really interesting because from my perspective, it really does have a strong green hue to it.
Yeah, like a little algae in there. Not really.
Oh, that's right. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was pouring mine heavy. I want a little extra over here. I'll do a side pour over here as well, which will be interesting to note because you will get a little bit less effervescence and I'll get a little bit more.
Yeah.
So we can kind of tell from those two perspectives.
So, St. Archer is the very first craft beer company that was acquired by Miller Coors. Excuse me for slurring my words. It's the very first craft beer acquired by Miller Coors. So, I mean, that's pretty interesting. It was the first one they went after. They founded in 2013 and sold in 2015. So within 2 years, Miller Coors was like, we need you.
Really?
And you were the first one that we chose. However, this one is one of the most award-winning, and also I believe it's the 9th largest craft brewery in all of the U.S. So we're going against actual small microbrew versus one that was bought out by big business but started out that way.
Right.
Within 2 years, they sold to a major company. So, I mean, that speaks volumes to me that they would go after it like that, you know? Anyway, which one do you want to get into first?
Well, I don't know. You got me all hyped up on I will say that since we cracked the Stone first, and it's a little guy, let's give it our first opinion.
All right. Give it a sniff. It's very citrusy.
It is. It got like a apple pineapple kind of a note. So
I'm already kind of a fan of that one.
You know, maybe apple pineapple is really more of a pear. It's like got like the combo of the two, which is kind of what a pear is in my opinion. It does smell hard like pear, like you smell now.
This is their flagship beer, I believe. And this company is a microbrewery. Does 325,000 like 600 something barrels of beer per year, which is
barrels.
A whole barrels
per
year.
Wow.
So for a microbrew, like I said, ninth largest in the U.S. That's for a craft beer, I should say.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, very citrusy, very hoppy.
Let's get to the drinking.
Cheers. Oh, again, very hoppy.
Very hoppy.
Oh, but I like. So after you get past that initial IPA extreme hoppiness, there's a nice citrus aftertone.
And I can totally see exactly what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And even like if you were to give yourself a couple mouth pops in between of your swallow,
mm-hmm.
then it kind of pre-notes what you will experience at the aftertaste.
Mm-hmm.
So once you get it in and you really taste it, it's like a two-stage. It's like you taste it, and then once it goes down, it's like boom. Not like uncomfortably boom, but really nice and sweet. But you know it's there. Yeah, tart.
Yeah, tart with a sweet aftertaste to me.
Especially on the back of the tongue, as we all know, that's more or less where the tart sensors lie.
Right.
So it makes sense. But that will be kind of the aftertaste. Is that you get the sweet notes as a collective, and then at the end you will notice that it gets a little bit tartar, but not uncomfortably.
Yeah, it gives. It's almost like a nice lemonade, limeade type flavor at the end of it, whereas initially it's like any other IPA that just kind of grabs your tongue and strangles it. I'm not.
I will say
again, you have to drink if you have heard us or me say this a million times. I'm not a big IPA guy. It's growing on me. I found several that I really like.
Yeah.
Number one being Elysian Salute the Sun. As far as delicious.
And that's what which is nice that you asked me to come on here because I prefer IPAs.
Yeah.
So
exactly. So it gives a little. And my buddy Mike that I generally do it with. Who couldn't make it this week. He is a porter guy like myself and a stout guy like myself. He does dabble in more IPAs than I used to, but this show's got me exposed to a whole bunch that I didn't realize that I actually liked, because I had tried several that were exactly that, almost like an overwhelming dish soapy taste to me, like, ew, it's soapy, as you would say.
Dude, oh my goodness. I had a buddy that I work with that recently said that same thing.
Yeah.
Tried one of my favorite beers from one of our local brewers, usually high quality, and in my opinion it was still the same quality. Yes. But if you don't have that particular palate,
exactly,
you may find that it tastes a little
almost
bit soapy.
Yeah. So I liken it to, I always say, growing up poor, everybody knows the one plastic cup that tastes like dish soap, but it's the only cup that's like ever clean, seemingly. Yeah. So you drink all your Kool-Aid clean. So you drink all your Kool-Aid and every other type of sugary drink out of there, but it always has that dish soap aftertaste. That's what most IPAs are like to me. Initially, this one's that way to me, but the aftertaste is very, very good to me. Very citrusy.
And I agree with that same thing. Like we discussed, it's a little bit. It's like a sweet when it's first swirling in your mouth. It's a sweet pineapple, pear, and undertones of apple, but not overpowering. And then once you swallow, like for the aftertaste, it's pretty much the same note, except for a little bit more of that tang that creeps into your nostrils, into your sinuses.
Citrus at you.
The citrus really it lingers as far as an aromatic, and I feel like that might couple with the sensories in your nose to really really capture the flever of the beer at the end of it. Is what I would say about that. But I'm really down to try the swill test. So, I don't know if we're into that just yet. But
what's a swill test?
Swill? I thought that it was the chug test. The
swigability?
Swigability.
How much can you swig it?
Swigability! But yeah, I'm down for that. So
so there's beers that, explaining that, there's beers that I think are swigging beers that you don't necessarily drink or sip on for the flavor, but you take big swigs of every time you drink it.
Uh-huh.
And so the reason I say swigability is because a lot of those beers that are like that go down so smooth, whereas some, especially ones like this with overwhelming flavor, is not one that you can just pour past your tongue.
Yeah, and it wasn't
your
necessarily intended, I guess. You know, in this particular field, it wasn't intended to bypass all the work that was put in to make it delicious, as it says.
Yes,
delicious idea.
Exactly.
But
some beers are meant to be enjoyed sipping with a meal, and other beers are meant to, you know.
And I tell you, I have no qualms with swigability. So regardless of the beer, cheers.
Swig it. So based on the carbonation level, I would say that swigability is still fairly high on this one, but the way the flavor attacks your taste buds makes it almost like overwhelming when you push that much of it past your tongue, because it, like you said, it hits you in the sides of your tongue, in that tart zone, quite a bit.
And remembering that Brian and myself, Porter IPA, IPA perspective, swigability was real nice. Not too tart, also not too bubbly when it goes down.
Yeah.
But it's still bubbly when it goes down. So keep in mind that this particular IPA, Stone Delicious, will probably, get you like happily burping, I would say. But as far as when you're chugging a gulp, it won't be too much to handle. So you can chug it for sure. And the flavor is still there, if not even milder than it was in sipping form. But it might have the potential to make you burp after, whatever that means to you.
Yeah, well, just as a backstory, if you haven't watched this video already, so my YouTube analytics told me that the #1 way that people find my videos on the YouTube search results is beer burps. So there's a whole crowd out there that's really into watching people burp, apparently. And then coupled with that, I saw a Tosh.0 episode where this kid that sneezed put YouTube videos up of him sneezing on command all the time, and he talked about the amount of sexual people who like have some sort of fetish with that particular thing that watch all his videos, that basically he makes a living off of YouTube by sneezing, and a large chunk of them are people with the fetish. So I was like, what type of sick motherfuckers are jerking off to me burping when I drink a beer? That's why I brought your sexy ass in here to give you something to come to.
Come to the video. In that regard, though, it does make sense that the Stone IPA, because it is a little bit more effervescent, especially after build-up, it seems, because when you're sipping it, it's not as noticeable, but you can definitely tell, even as I'm talking now, that there's a lot of carbonation that's coming out of the brew. So with that, if that's something that you like, then that is definitely a characteristic of this beer.
It. It's good. It's good for what it is. It's definitely exactly what they tell you it is on the bottle, which I appreciate.
Yeah, exactly. It does say citrusly delicious, and that's more or less the flavor profile. And like you were saying, it has held its own from beginning to Major League.
Yes,
so
it's becoming Major League as a microbrew, which I appreciate.
Well, I mean, just the fact that Stone's here, I mean, I can't assume that it's necessarily brewed here in this area.
No, San Diego, California, sir.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how many miles you travel just to get your beer in literally every local store that's in this particular area?
Dope as fuck.
It's incredible to do that as a small brewery.
Congrats to them. And we are comparing you to somebody who's bought out by one of the big boys, so...
Yeah, and I'm equally as excited for that. It almost looks like some flipping Gatorade.
Let's end this one. Welcome back to Drunk Beers Review Beers Versus Edition. We're getting into the second beer now, which is the St. Archer IPA. Feels like we still got a little more in there, Tyler. What are we doing with our lives?
Whoa.
Okay.
Whoa.
What? Oh.
No, you already got way more.
Okay.
Ah, you still got it.
All right.
Check the cameras. He's got more. Darn it.
All right.
Thank you, bud. Hell yeah. I love coming to beer review.
Okay. So we're going to get into it.
Getting straight in. Okay. Take a smell test, you said?
Equally, I don't know why we did cheers for smelling, but let's go with it.
Oh, in my opinion, a little more potent.
Yeah, almost more citrusy than the Stone one. Which we never gave any number reviews to. So what we're going to do is at the end of this video, we're going to give all of our number ratings.
Wow, it's almost invitingly aromatic.
Yeah,
like you want to drink it because of the aromatic texture of it.
Which I'm going to do now.
Me too.
I see why Anheuser-Busch bought it right off the bat.
Yep.
As somebody who's not a huge pale ale guy, delicious.
Especially when you consider the IPA nature of it. I mean, really, like, if I were to put kind of like, from my experience, a staple tried and true mark on an IPA, this has the flavor profile of that. Just, like, more or less, like, you can picture yourself stripping the hop of its flavor and then drinking it in beer form. I mean, that's more or less what I'm picking up right now. Is it this is like straight hop in a complimentary way in a glass. That's really what it is in my opinion. It's just straight hop going.
It's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I love the light citrusy flavor of it. Where this one almost like attacked your tongue. This one's almost lighter. Like a lighter version of that, a more palatable version for someone who's not into IPAs like myself.
Right. And also less viscous, I've been noticing in the past couple of drinks, is that it's not as heavy of a brew. It really does enter and leave your tongue and palate the same as you would picture water. Super clean and really straightforward as far as what they got brewing in this cup here.
Yeah, whereas like Old English Ron Jeremy'sio, this this is like a lot more pleasing and longer lasting, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit softer. It doesn't punch you in the face right away or after, but it's a very nice flavor. Let's try and describe the flavor, because I mean, if I was watching, I would assume that might be what you're looking for.
Very low carbonation level, so.
But tickly.
It is. Let's just get into ratings. Let's go. Well, let's chug it and then we'll get into ratings after that. You're the one on the time limit. You're the one on the time limit. I got all night, bro. I said chug!
I took 2 fat chugs just for the record.
Oh no. Well,
we'll cut that part out there.
Okay.
We'll cut it out afterwards.
Fat like an anorexic girl.
I would say, to be honest with you, maybe the effervescence / carbonation is a little misleading.
Right.
That once the beer is agitated, it creates quite a bit of bubbles.
Okay.
That's at least what I'm feeling internally.
Could that be that you drank Steel Reserve earlier in the evening?
It could be, very much so. But aside from the after effect inside your body, when I drank it, it was very complimenting. Mm-hmm. It wasn't too aggressive. Also, wasn't not noticeable. It is a very comfortable bubble where it seems like the bubbles are small, but they're managed at the same time.
Right.
So very, very smooth and clean, but also fun to drink itself. That's my opinion, at least as far as the bubbly chuggability goes.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're flavor-wise, if you had to pick between the two, which one are you going with?
I would say that my opinion on both is that the Stone Delicious is, as you might expect, it's a microbrew, and it is still a small business, and they have a very direct flavor, in my opinion. With the Stone Delicious, it's much more it's kind of like running a 40-yard dash versus 100 meter.
Okay.
Where the Stone Delicious is right there. It's noticeable. It stands out.
Mm-hmm.
But the others is a little bit smoother, incredibly delicious, and a great feel when you're brewing and drinking it. But it's a little bit, it's like a milder, long stretch beer, in my opinion.
Okay.
Like if you were looking to just like impress someone real quick, Stone Delicious. But if you want more of like a James Bond, like over the entire film beer, I would probably pick the other.
Okay.
There would be my opinion as far as the flavor combo between the two.
Right. Yeah. So like on your tongue, this is like Hulk Hogan, and this is like Andre the Giant. So
exactly. It really slaps you in the face.
Yes, it does. This is so heavy
you know?
and so IPA like, but still very good. So just off of flavor, I'm gonna go. This one was a little more mild for my palate. I'm gonna go. You're the winner for flavor, and I'm gonna go probably like a 6 or a 7. You know, a 6.7, somewhere in that range for flavor for me. Whereas this one was right at 6. I actually enjoyed both of them, and 6 being above average because I'm not an IPA guy. I would drink both again, but I'm gonna give slight edge on flavor to the I don't remember what the fuck you're called, St. Archer.
Yeah, keep that in.
Cue that in. St. Archer. Which one are you giving the flavor knot to?
I would probably say the flavor knot, in my opinion, is St. Archer as well.
Okay.
And the reason being is that St. Archer is a little bit more of a universal IPA, and it does make sense that this particular beer is a small company that's still trying to do things on their own. And this is a particular beer that started out as a small company with a great recipe, but has been adopted for more general taste.
Big business.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And so that's my opinion. Is this is like a more universally flavored and accepted beer, where this is a little bit more like a particular trail or avenue of beer. It's delicious, but if you aren't into this style of beer, then it might be a little bit different for you. But this is more of a general application beer of an IPA reflection.
So like this would be like a Kendall Jenner, and this is like a Kim Kardashian.
Then I hope that's like literally like a 2-second clip that fucking pops in between. If I just said I finish my beer and I cheers. And then I want you to come in and be like, this is like Kendall Jenner, and just like clip it real quick. And then
I just know there's going to be a lot of females watching since you're on here, so I figured I'd give them a little nugget.
Also clip that.
Did you show off your new hair yet?
Come on, I didn't even stylize.
No pressure.
Oh, do that.
Okay.
But
anyone that knows him knows that used to be at least 17 inches longer.
Yeah, I'll bring my ponytail. It's in the Trailblazer right now, but I'll bring it in if you want. F in the chat if you want some ponytail.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, no, I watch Reddit. Okay, so.
Alright, so turning it towards you. Marketing, who are you giving the edge to?
Marketing? Dude, I would say St. Archer is pro-marketing. I really appreciate Delicious IPA's marketing because it is a little bit more grounded, a little bit more earthy, and that's just usually what I sway to. But as far as what looks attractive, I would say that the Saint is definitely on the shiz right now. I mean, you take a look at that; it's just clean. It's clean. It's in your face. It's got a light, reflective aluminum can. It's just literally so sharp, in my opinion. A traditional look from the Stone Brew here, and you can tell that it's got like some hop and some tree vibe, especially with the greens, and I appreciate that. I respect that. It's my thing. But I mean, just preferentially, I would say the more like modern, clean-cut look from Saint is my opinion of what's going on here.
All right. So this is why it's good that I had you on. I'm going to go the opposite, and
Alright.
I'm going to say I like the gargoyle. I like the hops. I like the what the hell's that video game where you build shit? Minecraft. I like the Minecraft design that they used on there. It's very simplistic. It stands out on a shelf to me, like almost like a.
You know, that's a great point too. Is that you know, Brian was saying that that's one of the things that really calls to him, and especially people who are looking for a new beer.
Yes.
When you're at the store, you're looking for something fun and new, and
It's-
what shows up is these two right here.
They're very
mean,
similar
if
in
you-
marketing,
if
but
you
this
had-
is what stands out to me. Whereas this looks like a Coors Light can, a Steel Reserve can, a
Yeah, exactly.
any other.
I mean, if you were at the store and you looked at these beers right now, you'd be like, I was looking for something fun, something different.
Exactly.
Which one would stand out? It definitely would not be this one. Even though it was a fantastic beer,
Mhm.
it is, and I didn't know because the first time. This one, it kind of stands out different. And for me, now that I have drank them all and know what they're like, I would put that aside and say that I like the design of this one. But if you're trying to go to the store and pick out something that's a little bit more stand out and what really like grabs your attention,
Jumps off the shelf at you.
exactly. Because I mean, how many times are you really going to pick up a bottle and turn it around and read the story of the brewery?
Yeah.
It's only if it's worthwhile.
If the marketing catches you.
If it's worthwhile, and this particular brew, especially because of the morals that we hold,
Mhm.
you know, when you got the forest and the earth and everything included,
And you're a craft brew.
And you're a
that
craft brew.
Doing it by yourself, doing 300,000 plus barrels a year.
you know, you respect. There's a lot of little things that go into picking your beer, and this one really hits a lot of the marks.
Yes.
As far as the taste goes, they are both fantastic.
Yep.
They are just
More aggressive, less aggressive.
exactly different categories. You know, both IPAs, but this one is more of a general taste,
Mhm.
and then this one's more of like, if you're familiar with IPAs, you might go exploring into a different category, or not a different category, but a different flavor profile, something fun. I mean, how many times you've been to the store and picked up an IPA that was an IPA labeled, but it had a little something to it?
Yes.
You know,
Lots.
plenty of time. That's the whole reason that we got this freaking channel going right now. It's because Brian was just freaking ripping beers, different beers from the microbrews.
I'm the person who likes to go try all the different things, and I like to know what's what, and there's a lot of misinformation as far as the big breweries buying up these smaller brands. And I noticed a lot of beer review channels on YouTube are people who already know everything about beer. I wanted to give people a perspective from somebody who is just discovering it based on the taste and what jumped out at them.
You know what's interesting on that
Present
point?
some fun facts.
Seriously, because when I was there was only one time, because I am just a natural beer fanatic. There was one time where I was looking and I looked at the videos, and there were so many times where the gentleman on the film didn't know more or less what he was reviewing, and that, I mean, I still enjoyed the video to a degree, but at the same time, it was difficult for me to decide what I wanted to buy based off of that description, because I knew that particular gentleman hadn't put the time or the effort into deciding the factor. So it's been really nice. I mean, Brian and I have been friends for so long that I was really pleased to find that he had an interest in doing something like this. And so it's nice because I've been the one who has looked up a beer or a style of beer and gotten nothing but promoted videos that really just shooting a bunch of what do you call it, air out your ears, air out your ass. What's going on, you know?
Yeah. It's like product placement.
Exactly.
You know?
It really is, especially on a YouTube channel that when you don't really find too many channels that are about beer and or beer and brew or liquor or whatever it might be. You know, it's been really nice to be a friend with Brian, and have the opportunity to try these beers, because you know I love beer. I'm sure you do too. So
try them. They're both delicious.
You know?
So
especially if you're trying to impress a date or have a party, you know, there's multiple reasons why I might be trying a beer, and I hope, at least from my perspective, that you enjoyed the time that we've had here so far. You know.
So we can't crown a king of San Diego, but I will say they're both worth drinking, and depending on your level of IPA love, this might be the one for you. If you like a little more mild, like a Coors Light version of this beer, if you will, this is the one for you. They both have the very citrusy, hoppy overtone that just kicks you in the balls when you first drink it, but this one is the much milder version of this one if I were to just do a distinction of the two.
Oh.
I enjoy the flavor of this one more as not an IPA guy, but I appreciate this company so much for what they've been able to do as a craft brewery. So
yeah,
I can't give I don't know who won. It just depends on what you're into.
You know, and I would comment on top of that everything's agreed before, but at the same time, this particular beer is an IPA. This particular beer is an IPA. This one is like global.
Sex with a condom, raw.
Yep. Exactly. I mean, fuck. How am I supposed to follow that up? Thanks, Brian.
Sorry.
This beer in particular is a global standard. Like, if you want an IPA, or if you're entry level, or if you want to try an IPA, or at least see what people are doing, great, fantastic. This one is kind of like if you were to
might scare you away.
Might scare. I mean, you know, if you were to go first run Stone IPA. This one in particular is a little bit more solid. This is an IPA. This one is an IPA with a general mindset.
Yes.
It's not bad. It's really, really nice.
Very marketable to the masses.
And I'll tell you that this might be an extra clip, but this one is a little bit above my preference.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really, really, really good beer. And I would never say anything against that. It's a fantastic beer. But if I was going to drink, which I usually do, then this one in particular has the flavor, but it's a little bit more manageable, I would say.
Yes.
Similar alcohol percentage, no contest there. But as far as the flavor goes, this Stone is more of a sit down, enjoy, relax.
Holds more weight.
Exactly. Fuck yeah. Frick you. Sorry. But this one is really nice and more of a summer day IPA. If you want something to chill out while you're also getting the flavor of a hop, summer day right here.
Yeah.
But if you want more of an artesian, really eclectic, not really eclectic, sorry, artesian, pause, cut on the frame, this beer is good.
Perfect way to end it.
Thanks, Brian.
High five.
Fuck. No, we gotta do that again because they'll notice that I was going for more of a grab and you were slapping.
Oh, okay.
What
are we doing?
Let's
a
do a
forearm
forearm,
slap?
dude. Yeah,
Let's
okay.
just make it out.
Wait, no.
Oh, no? I'm just throwing it out there.
Fuck.